Alexandra Botyuk here, your GTA realtor with Keller Williams neighborhood, and
Oksana Miroutenko, real estate lawyer.
Today we're talking about pre-construction condos and what pitfalls, what drawbacks of pre-construction condos can be, and how to probably avoid some of the mistakes with the proper lawyer review of documents. So what would you like to share with us?
Well, I would like to share a normal conversation that I have when the people call me for the first time and they said, we were so excited, we were just checking some condominiums over the weekend, and my husband and I signed the agreement of purchase and sale, and they sometimes call me on the 9th day, although there are only 10 days to review the status certificate, and everybody's very excited. But just one note, please call your lawyer on the 2nd day, not on the 9th day, to review the agreement of purchase and sale. That's usually how it starts. We set up an appointment, and then the most interesting part starts when they actually see about 20 to 25 pages of fine print that they don't understand, and our discussion is usually about 45 minutes where we go into details of what they actually are purchasing.
Can I interrupt for a brief second? When people are buying pre-construction condos, when people that don't usually deal with real estate go to a builder and purchase without a realtor, why you should consider calling your realtor and inviting for the trip and reviewing the paperwork before even getting the paperwork to sign. Because what we can do as a realtors, we can review the floor plans and we can point out some things before you will even see it, in 5 years down the road. Like there's a pole, there's no window in the bedroom, or the size of this kitchen is so tiny the appliances will be half of the size. These things people that don't usually see real estate would not know. The other things that a realtor can point out and negotiate with the builder is caps on fees and some points like assignment clause. Quite often builder would not give it, or we can sometimes get a little bit better structure of payments. It depends, but when the realtor negotiates with the builder, sometimes we can do something. So what happens after you review the documents? Can you go back and negotiate something with the builder?
I also always kind of recommend for people to use the real estate agent, because you go with, I always say, with a layer of protection. Because even the salespeople, you have to understand that the builder is not there. You're talking to simple salespeople, just like as if you were buying shoes. So they will tell you everything you want to hear. When you come with a real estate agent, they understand that they're talking to a professional who is in front of you representing your interests. So they talk a little bit differently. They are more cautious. They are asked specific questions, so you feel more comfortable, and that's why I always recommend an agent. When they come to me, I always do, I have a very simple structure. I said, this is your pros, why you should be buying, and this is cons, what are the negatives. And usually, I wouldn't say it's a negative thing. I think it's just something that you should be aware of, because many people are not aware of things that they are buying. So on the positive end, I always say you are getting a brand new property. It's with all the colors, set plans that you chose, the floors, everything is brand new. You can choose whatever appliances you want, and many people really like it. The good thing is it's always not ready right away. So for some people it's a bonus, because they need to collect money for down payment, so they don't feel financially stressed, and they can actually adjust their budget according to the payments that they have to make. At the same time, they also like that it maybe will be done later in life, because they plan for their wedding, getting married at some point as an investment. So they most of the time already have a property, and they often buy it as an investment. So again, they like that it's not right away, but there is a little bit of time there. The things that I caution about, I said, do not ever look just at the price and just at the deposits, because that's where people make the biggest mistake. A lot of buyers that already had properties, that's how they calculate in their head. This is the purchase minus deposit, this is how much I owe. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way, and I take them right away to the big, sometimes it's 2 to 3 pages, in the agreement of purchase and sale paragraph called adjustments. So if you decide not to go to a lawyer, or you miss the time frame to go to the lawyer, please review with your real estate agent or by yourself, if that's the case, the clause called adjustments. And why? In the clause adjustments, we have a lot of additional costs that are, again, in fine print, such as property taxes, which is normal, that's what you have to pay. Carry-on, so when the property will be ready for occupancy, you will be meeting with a representative from the builder, and you will go over everything in a house or a condominium, make notes what needs to be done. The company that looks after your interest, is called Carry-on, and for this you have to pay. So the cost for Carry-on depends on your square footage, between $800 to $1,000. As a builder, as a purchase from the builder, you are paying for all connection fees of the hydro, water, gas. Even if you buy a condominium, you are the ones paying for it. And all of these costs are roughly between $300 to $400. You are paying for trees. Some people are really surprised that trees cost $500. It's there. If you're buying condominium, a lot of times your condo fees are included in this adjustment, and the builder always wants the reserve fund, at least 2 to 3 months of reserve fund contribution. What it means, let's say you have condo fees of $300 times 3, $900 out of your pocket right away you have to pay. The problem with adjustments that none of them have actual numbers. So all you see is just legal language, very complex, and you have no idea that all these adjustments in the end when you purchase will magically transform into the numbers. One of the biggest ones, which I always tell clients, called transaction levy. Transaction levy means that if your property is located in a great area, let's say next to the Rogers Center, you have subways, you have GO trains, railway, downtown location, the city inputs a tax called levy, and that runs between $8,000 to $10,000 now. If you have nice park, now it's a very recent thing, they start charging you for park levies. Let's say Old Mill properties, beautiful park in front of you, even if you're not looking at it, $8,000. So you are the first person to purchase from the builder, and you are the one responsible for it. And if you were carefully listening, I'm already throwing a few thousands of dollars there. So I tell my clients, please be ready for between 8 to 15, maybe maximum, extra on top of your purchase price. And this is just an adjustment. I'm not talking about legal fees, land transfer taxes, and everything else that goes.
So this goes before we buy the unit and what happens with the amount of money. But besides that, we have a certain process buying pre-construction condo that I wanted also to touch base on. There are two closing, like a closing date is one, but there are two critical dates.
Yes.
Am I correct? Can we talk about that?
Yes, there are two dates that people don't know about, and basically when you buy a condominium, there are two closings. One is called occupancy and another one is called final closing. I'll tell you a story I just told Alex yesterday. It's a true story from my clients. They've been with me for over 10 years, so they know the process, but they never ever purchased from pre-construction. They didn't come for review of the agreement because the property was really hot. They were in a lineup overnight. They did not want any reviews. They knew they want this property, no agent, no lawyer, nobody, handling the very first steps. And they told me the reason why they didn't call me. They said, Oksana, we purchased it in 2012 and we are now in 2019. When we received the letter from the builder, which actually told them, contact your lawyer, they didn't see that one last sentence. All they saw is the date of June 5th, and that's all.
The closing.
So the closing.
The
occupancy date. So what the email said to me was, hi Oksana, nice to hear that you're still practicing. We are very happy to be working with you again. By the way, we are getting our keys tomorrow. So I called them right away because I know it's a problem. And why is it a problem? Because when they say we are getting a key, that means there is an occupancy set on that date. What it means, it's not as simple as their builder's representative, again, the salesperson told them. They're not simply getting the keys. They have to meet with the lawyer. They have to advise the lawyer at least a month in advance that this is happening. And they have to sign with me many documents which we received from the builder. These documents include the occupancy, that they can live there, but they are still not registered, and they are not registered. They are considered occupants. They have to sign a document saying that they cannot advertise for sale nowhere. No MLS, no KGG, nothing like that. They cannot make any renovations. They have to just occupy the unit. They have to bring post-dated checks. Again, the amount of checks are written down, and they consist of property taxes, maintenance, and also an amount that the builder takes from the bank in order to finish the project and to register it for final closing. Yesterday they had to bring 10 checks. On average, it's 10 to 12 checks. And what it means, people call it rent. It's not rent, it's called occupancy fees that you are paying. And the question number one that everybody wants to know, how long do I have to pay? And the answer to that, I always say, it also depends on your floor. So let's say if the building has 10 floors and you purchased on the 9th floor, the amount of checks or the time will be, of course, much shorter than somebody who purchased on the 1st floor. So usually it's about 6 to 7 months delay between occupancy and final. You will live there, you will occupy, the property is livable, and you pay this occupancy fee.
I would like to add a few moments to that. Oksana probably doesn't go to see what happens, because I go see what happens before the occupancy when we do the PDI inspection, and also when we get the keys, what happens. Like the unit is finished, the unit is clean, they clean the unit, but everything around it, the corridors are all dusty and not, no carpets, no walls, like no paint, no covers, the amenities are not working. Basically, your unit is done. You can live in it, but you're still living in construction, and there's definitely nothing done around the building. There are no playgrounds, no grass, no trees, no landscaping done. This is what I experience when I go through occupancy phase with my clients. I usually try to go for PDI inspection, and before the PDI inspection, there is another visit where you can choose your finishes. This is a great time to go, and don't miss the date, because you can actually get you can actually have a say on what you want the unit to look like.
Correct. And there's no swimming pool. Some of my clients were very surprised.
No amenities for another year sometimes.
That's right. And one of the concerns, people say, I don't want to live there. I'm not going to pay occupancy fee. Well, then you go right back to your agreement of purchase and sale, which you signed in the very beginning, especially if you didn't sign with the lawyer or the agent, you would not know these things. And that's why you consider yourself that you're in a trap, but you are not in a trap. There was a disclosure. The builder gives you these 10 days so that you can go to the lawyer, you can talk to your real estate agent, and when people meet with me, there is no surprises. They know to have ready, let's say, extra 15,000. They know there will be pre-construction, and when they come for final closing, I absolutely have no issues. Sometimes I get clients who didn't do that, and they are shocked, and then I know right away that they didn't have any reviews with anyone. So I would recommend definitely get a real estate agent, a lawyer, if you can, in the very initial stages. If you don't like let's say what I told you, and if you're not ready for waiting, for paying, for living in a construction, for all these things that I am cautioning you about, you can get your deposit back within that 10 days. You cannot do it after. A lot of times there is very strict conditions. Sometimes they don't give you 10 days. Sometimes I've seen that they give you only 5 days over the weekend, and of course over the long weekend. So be very careful when you sign the agreement, how many days are you given for the review of the lawyer, because if you didn't see the lawyer, the time ran out, then you cannot get your deposits back, and that's important to remember.
So after the occupancy phase, you will be notified, like I think it's a 30-day time.
Now they even have us as bad as only 10 days time. We have
so 10 days before final closing. What that means, your lender does not know when the closing is going to be until this last notice that the closing will happen in such and such day. So as soon as occupancy starts, I usually advise my people, be cautious, like prepare your lender, say that you're already in the occupancy stage, give them a notice so they are ready to close on a short notice.
They can even lock your rate. The clients that I talked about yesterday, a lot of builders now, a couple of years ago they didn't require it, but now because with the stringent rules for the mortgages, now every builder requires up-to-date mortgage commitment. Because if you qualify for mortgage back 5-7 years ago, maybe things change. Maybe you're unemployed now. Maybe you are divorced now. Maybe you cannot handle the mortgage that you were approved back then. So a lot of builders now want up-to-date mortgage commitment letter before they even give you keys, because they don't want you to live there if later on in 6 months you find out that you don't qualify for a mortgage and then you have to move out. So it's very important to keep your mortgage broker aware of all these things. Let them know ahead of time. Even for the occupancy, they need time to prepare your pre-approval up-to-date mortgage letter. And also the builders now require insurance. It was not the case a couple of years ago. Now they want your insurance. And it's called renter's insurance. Although you are not renting, as I said before, you're just occupying, but the builder wants that insurance. So you have to call your insurance agency and ask for the occupancy insurance. Not many agencies do it. So before, searching around, just call them and right away say that I'm occupying. Do you do this type of insurances? And the builder wants at least not less than $2 million liability. Very important.
Oksana, this is very pragmatic question. How much does the review cost?
The way we work, I don't charge for review. If you're working with me for occupancy and for the final, it's part of the package, so it's already included in my legal fees. If, for example, you decide not to proceed, my fees are $250. It's hourly fee plus HST. But most of my clients, I would say 99%, when they come to me, they know that they want to buy. So we don't have these issues because it's already included in a regular legal fees.
Closing fees.
Closing fees, yeah.
So you would review the documents
Yes.
with expectation that they would close.
Correct.
With you.
Correct.
Okay, thank you so much. I think that was very informative. I would like to record another video with you on people who put tenants in on occupancy. So what happens, what consequences it can have to the owner of the unit. So that would be another video. For now, thank you so much for pre-construction condos.
And thank you, Alex, for
you,
being
Oksana.
current and helping people out there to make their life easier and healthier, because you don't need to be stressed. Purchasing from the builder is a very stressful experience. Believe me, I've seen many people here. So please do your research, your work with lawyer that you can understand. So when they talk to you, you actually understand what they're saying, because it's very important. Same
Sure.
with real estate agents. Somebody that you can trust and understand and ask questions, and don't be afraid to ask questions, because you are the ones who will be paying for all of this at the end of the day. Thank you
So much.